Just was reminded of something. Always thought that Jesus is someone who's always patient, very kind, gentle. He is, but at one point, I remember some years ago, and it's come back to me now, that he was a little bit annoyed with me. Yes, because I was timid. I was so timid. I was so fearful. I was so fearful, and he was so kind. He was so patient. He was so patient. And even knowing him, and I was still so timid, fear of failure, fear of trying, fear of. And then I sensed an irritation, from him. He was like displeased because I didn't trust him. So that was my personal experience. And then I realized that he was waiting for me, walking and walking ahead, but I was not following. So he had to stop, right? And then over and over again, and at times I was like frozen because of my thoughts and my fears and my insecurities. Then I sensed, hey, why is he different? He's not pleased. He's a bit annoyed with me. Perhaps I grieved the Holy Spirit, yeah? So then I was thinking, oh, if I lose Jesus, I got nothing. I got nobody. So then was that beginning of the journey of making those baby steps. Then I remembered that God is patient. Yes, He's long-suffering, but then there are many times He's nudging us, He's encouraging us, but we are slow, we are holding back, but we trust other things. So that was what I guess displeased Him. I don't know why I'm saying that now. It's possible to displease God. My experience, it just came back to me after so many years. So I don't know how that helps. I just thought to share that.
Jesus wasn't timid at all.
He wasn't.
He wasn't. When he went into the temple, he overturned all the tables when they made the temple a marketplace,
Yeah.
and he showed his righteous anger. Right?
It's like Daddy, our Daddy God. He's perfect, and He does everything for us, right? And we're safe with Him, right? When the one who is worthy of all our trust is not trusted, how does it feel? Over and over again. And then sometimes there's this frustration. I don't know, I just sensed a frustration. I cannot move without you. You have to take the steps of faith. I cannot do anything unless you follow me. I cannot do it for you. In that sense of frustration, I cannot drag you to the water and make you drink. You have to follow. You have to trust me. That was the sense I was getting. But I knew He would never leave me nor forsake me. It's just that the progress was stunted, the growth was hindered. Because He cannot override my free will. He cannot coerce me into doing something, even for my own good. Right? So I remember that. So patient with me. So many years. So patient.
I want to respond to that. When you were mentioning that, and I was thinking, why is she saying this? Suddenly this verse popped in my mind, and then I remembered I actually asked God when I was reading this in Revelation chapter 21 verse 8. NIV says, but the cowardly, the unbelieving, the vile, the murderers, the sexually immoral, those who practice magic arts, the idolaters, and all liars, they will be consigned to the fiery lake of burning sulfur. This is the second death. So King James Version has fearful instead of cowardly, and then most other versions have the cowards. And I said, How can it come together? Because I am actually a very fearful person for many years. I feel sometimes it still crops up. I'm fear of what people think or what people will say or what people actually has said or knowing that God already say do something but then procrastinating because of fear. I think I can resonate with what you say. It's a process of understanding that, wow, this is serious. Because I said, hey, not fair lah. How come you lump together with the immoral and the idolater? And then, but it makes sense. In his love, he is saying he wants us to respond to him. What it is different for every person in different situations, of course. And of course, principles won't change.
Yes.
But I feel this is something that not a lot of people notice. And a lot of people who have experienced abuse actually have a lot of different fears.
Yes.
So I think it's very relevant to the whole abuse recovery process too.
Yes. As you were speaking, I realized one more thing also. There was a health scare 2 years ago. And we know we're supposed to step out of the boat, right? And walk on water. But then I used to think of it as me, always about me stepping out of the boat, self-focused, rather than Jesus is there. His hand is there. If I hold his hand, it'll be okay. I just hold his hand and walk with him. When it became more Christ-centered and Christ-focused, the fear just melted away. Because it was just about putting my hand in his hand and walking with him. So that was that shift when I was so focused on myself and the situation, circumstances, my ability to actually step out of the boat. But when I had that kind of like a vision, it was like a vision that was so real, and that I was holding his hand and walking with him. And then we just like, nothing matters. Because he's leading, right? So that was a shift some years ago. It was just gradual, but it's like when it's Christocentric, then it's not about us anymore because we're with him. And he will never let us go. So it was, but it's a long time coming. Many years.
Healing. You really feel that God doesn't want to waste any of our experiences. And if God gave us the gift of teaching, I feel God will use us to teach what we have learned to others also. Yeah. Being in the end times, I feel there's not enough of all of the fivefold ministries, be it apostle, prophet, teacher, pastor, evangelist. So I feel God is raising up a whole army of different people that will use their unique voice to be able to help build up the church. Yeah.
It's biblical, but it's my experience of Jesus showing displeasure to me. So that is like me and God. And it's personal. So young people or other believers or non-believers might mistake it for doctrine.
That God's an angry God.
Like doctrine, like God can be like, displeased, which is true.
That come to the channel are usually Christians. God doesn't show displeasure very easy. He doesn't get angry easily. So, but the way you describe like it also, help people understand, like he was waiting for you. It's not angry needlessly. And I feel that it's so true. Sometimes we come to a point where God feels we have that certain degree of emotional buttress, that fortitude already, and yet because of fear, we don't want to do something, and God shows displeasure, but in a loving way, and only God can do that perfect. The way that you said it help people really understand from his point of view and then be able to respond accordingly. Yeah, because I couldn't word it the way you word it, but I felt that, oh yeah, I understand what you're saying. Yeah, I experienced that.
All the
Yeah.
Bible knowledge, but when we don't move when God says move, it's like holding back our growth as well as could be other people's. It could be impacting so many other people's lives by not actually stepping into our destiny. We are not stepping into our destiny when we are holding back. And these are small baby steps that God leads us step by step.